All right, so this is just a quick video explaining multiplying rational expressions. It's going to be a quick video for you. This is about my fourth time doing this. So it has not been very quick for me, but it'll be quick for you. So similar to fractions, if you remember with fractions, multiplying fractions is probably one of the easiest things that you could do with fractions. I feel similarly about rational expressions. I find multiplying rational expressions to be one of the easier things you will do. So good news there. The first example at the top of the page here is just showing you how you could use the skills you've learned so far with simplifying when it comes to multiplying fractions. So I won't really go over that. Basically, all they did is cancel the 5 from the top with the 5 from the bottom. Because when you're multiplying fractions or rational expressions, you're multiplying the numerators together and the denominators together, which means it could, like they did here, be written as one big question. So then they just canceled the 5 from the bottom. I arguably would have simplified 8 into 2 times 4 and then canceled 10, but anyway. Over here, similar concept. They took the two questions that were being multiplied together, they wrote it as one big question. Now, and they did something that I wouldn't have done. They took 3 times 8 and actually multiplied it together in the x times x. I probably would have started canceling from this guy here as opposed to taking this step, but again, it comes to the same. So whatever makes more sense to you, no big deal. This is pulled from a book of some kind, so no big deal. Both will give you the exact same thing. And then, of course, finding your non-permissible values. You should typically find the non-permissible values before you simplify. The order actually doesn't matter as long as you're taking the non-permissible values from the original question and not your simplified answer. So I often don't take my own advice and wait until the end to simplify. It is not technically wrong so long as I am taking the non-permissible values from the original question and not the simplified answer. All right, so typically the steps that we suggest, they're written right here, is to factor, then do your non-permissible values, and then simplify. I will attempt to follow those rules. This is my fourth video, like I said. Each time I always forget non-permissible values until the end, but we'll see. So the first expression here, again, it's already done for you, so I probably won't take too much time doing this. So a squared minus a minus 12 over a squared minus 9 times a squared minus 4a plus 3 over a squared minus 4a. So a squared minus a minus 12 factors by inspection. The two factors are there. A squared minus 9 is the difference of squares, factor there. A squared minus 4a plus 3, another inspection. It's already been factored here. And then a squared minus 4a is actually a greatest common factor, not a difference of squares because of the extra a. So that factors a times a minus 4. Then, because it could be written as one big fraction, you can just cancel. It doesn't matter if, like this factor of a minus 4 was on the top of this fraction, but on the bottom of this one. Doesn't matter because it's all being times together. So I can cancel those two things. And then a plus 3, that was in the same rational expression even, or same fraction, whatever makes more sense to you. It is technically a rational expression. So that was in the same rational expression. So those can be canceled. And then this a minus 3 can cancel with this a minus 3. Because again, we could just write it as one big fraction or one big rational expression. So then once we've canceled everything, we look at what's left. So what's left is a minus 1 and a. So my simplified expression is a minus 1 over a. Non-permissible values come from the original question. So they come from this guy before we started crossing stuff out. And of course, non-permissible values are just your denominator. So a cannot be plus or minus 3, a cannot be 0, and a cannot be positive 4. Because any of those numbers would make any of those denominators 0, which would make the whole denominator 0, which is non-permissible. Okay, next. So b, x plus 1 over x squared minus 5x plus 6. X plus 1 can't be simplified anymore. So I'm just going to factor the bottom. So what multiplies to give 6 but adds for negative 5? That is x minus 2 and x minus 3. On top is x minus 2. Simplify the bottom, it's factor by inspection. That's x plus 4 and x plus 1. And then, no, I am not going to look for factors. I'm going to do my non-permissible values. Fourth time's the charm. So x cannot equal positive 2, positive 3, negative 4, and negative 1. Now, again, if you're struggling with non-permissible values, go back and watch that video. But what I'm doing is I'm making each of these brackets equal to 0 and solving. I can do that in my head. I also can do that reasonably without actually really doing any math for these particular questions, because it basically means what minus 2 would give 0. 2 minus 2 would give 0. 3 minus 3 would give 0. Negative 4 plus 4 would give 0. Negative 1 plus 1 would give 0. So these ones are actually fairly easy to do without really showing any work. Some of the other ones are a little harder, so it's just up to you. Okay, so those were non-permissible values. Now I can look for factors that are the same and cancel. So x plus 1 and x plus 1. X minus 2 and x minus 2. So what's left is my simplified expression. So everything on top canceled, which means I'm left with a 1 on top. And then x minus 3 and x plus 4. And that is my fully simplified answer. Usually at this point, people ask, should we FOIL out the bottom bracket? Should we multiply out the bottom bracket? No, you want to leave it like this. This is in simplest form. Again, these things, most things that we do in math is because it translates to a graph. This is easier, trust me. So you want to keep it like that. Next one. So y squared minus 9 over r cubed minus r. No, it is not a mistake. If you look over here, there's r's here and y's here. So it's not a typo. It is meant to be both y's and r's. So I'm going to factor first. So y plus 3 and y minus 3 for my difference of squares that's on top there. And then here, it's actually going to factor twice. So I think I'll do it over here. R cubed minus r. I'm going to factor r out. And then I'm going to be left with r squared minus 1. And then r squared minus 1 is a difference of squares. So that will give me r and r plus 1 and r minus 1. So I'll rewrite that here. And then this bracket, we factor out the r. So this top one here I'm working with now. And that leaves me with r minus 1. And then y plus 3 on the bottom. So before I start canceling things out, I will find the non-permissible values because I am learning. And I'm going to have some for y and some for r. So y cannot equal negative 3. That's the only one for the bottom, right? And then r cannot equal 0. And plus and minus 1. That's it. Those were non-permissible values. Now I can start canceling things. So y plus 3 and y plus 3. R and r minus 1 and r minus 1. So my final answer there is what's left, y minus 3 over r plus 1. And then my non-permissible values. Circle that for these ones too. That's it. So the next 4 are for you to try, and you should check Teams when you are done. If I knew how to edit videos, I wouldn't have made 4 of these, and I would just do these answers and then like paste it into the end of the video. Anyway, I don't know how to edit things, so check Teams. I will post the answers and they'll be all worked out. So you can check Teams to find the final answers for these 4. And that's it. That is multiplying rational expressions. It's really basically simplifying. It's not really any different. That's it. Bye.